Hello, Aries. Thank you so much again, you guys, for being here. Okay, Aries, so looking at your last part of November, you pulled Nightmare, Recovery, and Compassion. This immediately says to me that you're no longer ruminating over the pain of a past situation. And I feel like the key to the recovery here is going to have to do with you being able to find forgiveness for the people that have hurt you. That's kind of where compassion is coming through. So Nightmare is talking about psychic protection and then getting healing sleep. So this to me is kind of like what happens after the Nine of Swords. And because of recovery talking about healing pain from a past situation, you may have been ruminating for a while about the pain that you've experienced. But there's also this recovery of a part of you that may have been lost due to the situation. For others of you, you're coming out of a nightmare cycle. You're recovering whatever's been lost because of going through that. And you're finding this compassion and forgiveness for anybody who may have hurt you, right? But the Nine of Swords feeling that's coming off of that with recovery, it's like, this is something that may have been plaguing your mind for quite some time. The King of Cups. So emotional maturity, possibly dealing with someone, right? Loving, supportive. Now, it may be because of painful situations that there's, a level of emotional maturity that's being gained from that. But we could also be talking about the person who may have caused you some pain, right? But ruminating was the word that came up for me looking at that. Ruminating and constantly thinking about the pain that was caused. And, again, the key to the recovery there is being able to forgive and let go of whatever situation may have happened between you and another person where that kind of pain has been caused to the point where you couldn't stop thinking about it, right? Your overall, the Eight of Cups, yeah. Okay. And I'm kind of wondering how the King of Cups is playing into this. But obviously with the Eight of Cups being your overall, we're talking about you needing to walk away from what is emotionally draining you. You know you're done with it on an emotional level, but you may not know what the hell you're going to do or where you're going after this. You just know that you don't have any more emotions left to give. But it's needing to move on, right? In the past, the Two of Cups, okay. So now this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be any relationship that you have had with a person where you feel like there was a connection in the past. But something about this isn't the same anymore because of this Eight of Cups. Now, if it's just about relationships in general, it may be that you need to walk away from certain connections that leave you emotionally drained, right? But we could be talking about a relationship from the past that's coming through. And then you've got all this emotional stuff going on here and the King of Cups falling out, which makes me wonder, how he's playing out in this. In the present, the Five of Wands. Okay, so where you were seeing eye to eye and feeling the same way, in the present moment, we're talking about conflict. And it's interesting looking at that with the Eight of Cups. I'm so done going over the same arguments again and again. Because you're looking at the Eight here, you've done this for some time. But clearly here, a relationship where there may have been a connection in the past is now leading to this level of conflict, this petty, back and forth, right? But we'll see what's going on here. Future conditions, Temperance. So there's a need for you to be patient with yourself, and I feel like your emotional response, and that may be where that King of Cups is falling through. But again, for some of you, this could be this person. And I'm wondering if they don't get to a point where they understand that they may have pushed you emotionally a little bit too far. But anyway, with temperance coming out in future conditions, you're going to have to hold yourself back. You're going to have to find inner balance and maintain that. This is, not overindulging emotionally in this either. But I feel like you're going to be forced to kind of like hold yourself back from responding or reacting, especially emotionally here. And patience is going to be required of you. Even though you may be continuously going over the same kind of stupid argument over and over again with someone. Your best path to follow the moon. What's interesting is one of the things I talk about with the Eight of Cups is it's easy enough to tell somebody, hey, you're going to have to walk away from something. But when you've invested so much of yourself into it, it's not that easy. It's like, well, I'm confused. What am I doing now? I've been doing this for a while. What the hell am I going to do? Where am I going? And with the moon, this is like trusting the unknown. Right? And not giving into any kind of like fear or deception or disillusionment. But this could also be about, you needing to uncover some things that may have been kept hidden on an emotional level. Like, I get the feeling of, trusting the unknown as far as, listen, walking away here, you may not know where you're going, but trust that you're moving into something better for you. Where you're not having to be in this place of constantly trying to maintain balance within. And being the patient one in the situation, right? But there's this feeling, though, too, of, like, you can't hide how you feel from yourself anymore. That's what I feel like here. And it may be time to kind of like bring some of those things that you've been keeping in the dark to light and what you've been feeling. But it requires you to do it in such a way in future conditions where you're not like escalating a situation. It's interesting. In your environment, the Four of Pentacles, so this is clearly arguing about something that somebody can't let go of, or the unwillingness to give what's necessary to keep the connection with the Two of Cups coming through, right? So clearly we're talking about somebody not willing to give anything, holding on to certain things, it causing conflict. And you're like, yeah, I can't keep doing this to myself. And you may have been hiding those feelings from yourself for a minute. But this is all about, these need to come up now. Because otherwise, it's just going to turn into resentment. That's what I feel like here. And it may be you kind of like taking the higher road here. Like, don't suppress what is happening here. But I think that because you may be dealing with somebody that's not willing to let go of anything, it's going to be up to you to be the one to finally say enough is enough. I'm not willing to invest myself emotionally into this anymore. But it has to do with you and somebody else and the connection that you have had in the past. But somebody just won't let go of something. Your hopes and your fears, the King of Pentacles. You know what I feel like here is you're hoping that somebody kind of gets their shit together. If that makes sense, right? And I look at, and it's interesting to me, right? Because the King of Pentacles for me, especially within relationships, this is somebody who has the ability to give what is necessary to continue to grow a relationship and make it successful. This is somebody who is realistic and practical, but you're hoping and fearing this, and you're talking about a miser, somebody who isn't willing to give anything, and they may not be willing to give any kind of emotional understanding. So this could be about somebody trying to hold something against you. Or it could be that, somebody is just not willing to give what's necessary to continue the relationship where you've been giving everything you've got, right? And it's like, when is this person going to get their shit together? When are they going to start giving what they have to this connection? Because at one time they were invested. And again, this isn't going to be for all of you, but this very much has the feeling of, needing to stop lying to yourself about a relationship where the same kind of arguments are coming up time and time again because somebody isn't willing to help or to give what's necessary. And you can't be involved in that anymore. And you can no longer lie to yourself about it either. And then coming out the Six of Cups, it's always those past feelings that pull you back in. Doesn't it? I mean, we have a tendency to look back at past emotions when it comes to connections that we have with people, and we make it look so much better than what it actually was. Now, for some of you, it may literally be going back to a time where the connection was better. But what I worry about is are you living in the past? Is that why there's this, need to kind of move on and stop hiding how you feel to yourself? There's your 3. You have the Page of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and then the Knight of Swords. So here's what I feel like here. Whether this is you looking back at the past or this person trying to bring up past emotions, that may be where Temperance is coming through, where it's like, yeah, but are things really changing? Is this person going to get their shit together? Are they going to give what's necessary to continue this type of connection, right? With the Page of Pentacles here, it's almost like, let me manipulate the emotions that you've had in the past and make it look like there's an opportunity for a new start, right? But you're looking at them as the King of Pentacles. They shouldn't be the Page. So it's like, when are you getting your shit together? When are you going to decide that you want to give to this relationship, this connection? But it's like nothing realistic or tangible is being shown to you. It's kind of like a back and forth almost. And that may be where the conflict is coming up with this 5 of Wands. But this is like, let me show you how I may have changed or what I have learned. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a new opportunity for a new beginning. Remember how you used to feel, type of thing. And with the 9 of Wands, you're like, yeah, no. Right? This is protecting yourself because you've been through enough of the conflict of not getting what's necessary to facilitate this relationship or the growth of this relationship. It's like, no, I can't allow these emotions to continuously keep coming back through when the problem here is the fact that somebody isn't giving what's necessary. And then with the Knight of Swords and looking at Temperance, this may be where the balance is required here. You don't want to do anything too drastic or too harsh, but I feel like here you kind of get pushed to the point where you have to speak the truth, even if it comes out in a very harsh way. I'm tired of this kind of like back and forth, things not being clear. Somebody holding on to something or not willing to give what's necessary, whatever the case may be. The whole point of this, though, I feel like, Aries, is that you can't lie to yourself anymore about how you're feeling. That's what I'm getting from this. So everything else is just static. The only thing that really matters is the feelings that you may be suppressing because of this constant conflict that may be going on with a relationship where there's this unwillingness to give, right? And that may be where your oracle cards are coming through. Stop ruminating over it. And maybe it's time to just accept that, emotionally you may have been completely drained by this. But that doesn't mean that there isn't, the ability to heal and have that recovery. But it may require you to just, right? Like, let me say my piece. I forgive you, but peace the fuck out, right? Wow, man. Guidance. Psychic knowing. I'm telling you, man. And then play. So you need to go out and have some fun. Guidance is helping you to see what you already know to be the truth. And again, you can't lie to yourself about how you're feeling. But if you've been ruminating on this for quite some time, it may be, that this is the point now where it's time to go on, right? Like, again, there's this like, I don't know where I'm going or what's going to happen after this, but just trust the unknown, right? But the psychic knowing and looking at the moon and the Eight of Cups and the moon just being present in all of this, it's like you needed to be guided to this so that you could see how it was affecting you emotionally. But you need to play. You need to go have fun. You have to have an adventure. You have to experience something different. And I don't care what this relationship is here. If the connection is as important to this other person as it is to you, they will give what's necessary to keep that kind of connection and understanding with you. But if they're not willing to do so, there is nothing that you can give that's going to change that, right? Wow, man. Grounding. Go deep. Explore your roots. And then you have reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly. And I feel like this is like reaching that destination where you see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because there's a part of this that kind of feels like you've been going through this for some time. And it may be finally, this kind of like breaking point happens where some words are being spoken, things are being said. You're kind of have to take like a step back. And you're having to find balance within you. But I would be careful about how past emotions pull you into the future. But from the clarification on this, what I feel like here is that, something may be said in just the right way, that it sounds so familiar to what you've been hearing, that it immediately blocks you off. And, whatever you decide to do moving forward, just make sure that you're not trying to hide from yourself anymore how you're feeling about this or about this person. But you need some time to have fun and experience the joy in life if you've been going through this for too long, right? And again, right, looking back at the oracle cards, the key to recovery is going to be forgiveness and compassion.